Welcome to the Kingdom Calling podcast, our weekly look at events of last weekend, even events of today. And we look forward as well later to the two big games at the weekend. That's the Kerry Petroleum Intermediate Final replay and also, of course, the Munster Senior Club Championship game in Loose Road between Dr. Crokes and Castlehaven. But firstly, we are dealing with a brilliant win by Abbeydorney, the Kerry County Senior Hurling champions. 50 years it took them to win a championship, and it only took them it took them just over an hour to win their first Munster game when they beat Brickey Rangers in Waterford. And everybody was well received in Waterford, may I add. And I will introduce my panel. We're a bit thin on the ground because James McCarthy decided that at his age he should still be training. I don't know what he's training for, a three-legged race or something, but it's certainly not for hurling, surely. But with me tonight, I have the voice of Clubber at that game in Dungarvan. That's Aidan Leahy, the most wanted man in Dashaland. All the housewives down there are looking for him. And if he goes to Wexford again, he'll have to go through Tipperary and around in a circle. He cannot go through Waterford. He's banned for at least 12 months. Although with the Trump victory now, we might get the border opened rather than closed and get you in there. But really, it was very entertaining with Shane McGrath, who did a good job from the local club. And other than the final 60 seconds when Oisin Mansell put over that winning point, and there was a lot of noise and shouting and roaring. Might have been the crowd, but it could have been Aidan. So anyway, Aidan, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, we have to wish a belated happy birthday. Aidan was 25 years of age. He's that young. He was 25, half John O'Dowd's age. He was 25 on Tuesday, I think. Wasn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got a big cake and one candle on it because he couldn't lift the cake with 25 candles. Now, John O'Dowd, my son John, are just back from Rathkeale, where we saw the Tralee CBS bow their first debut game in against Tralee CBS. They lost, but they played very well. We'll have a quick word on that as well. So my son John are just back. So John, of course, is a regular with us, and he was doing the championship. One of the top commentators in Kerry, I am told. And he'll be doing both games over the weekend, actually, along with Sean O'Sullivan on Clubber. Both games are live, the football games at the weekend. But this is a hurling segment. Now, Aidan, you're allowed to defend yourself against all the accusations I made against you. So before we discuss the game, do you want to make a wholesome apology to the people you upset in Waterford and tell them that your dad is involved in the club, you managed the club, an underage team, not very successfully, a few years back, and you live, there's Abbeydorney, black and amber blood running through your veins? Or was it the fact that Abbeydorney were wearing green and gold that upset you?
It is funny enough, and a lot of people said it was strange, but having watched a couple of the challenge games, they played 4 or 5 challenge games wearing the Kerry jerseys, got slightly used to it, and the boys were slightly used to it as well. I would like to take this time to apologise to absolutely nobody. It was a great day for Abbeydorney, to be fair, in Waterford. We serious crowd, we carried, I think, one big bus, one smaller bus, and there was a rake of cars travelled. It was a serious turnout.
If you have 200 people there, that's the population of the village. Just a very small place.
Well, there's a fine population there. I think we've struggled getting the population down.
Have they got Wi-Fi and electricity in Abbeydorney?
Just about, yeah. Right. I think they got the power around 66, to be fair.
Very good.
But it was a great day. We carried a great crowd, and
look straight at the camera there and tell them you're not going to apologise, will you? Tell me this. Good news from today, though. Update us before we go back.
Absolutely, yeah. So, we didn't really know it was right. I think I gave out some. I've turned out to be right, but I gave out some incorrect information.
That was the only thing you did. That was the only thing you upset the Waterford people before.
When I heard the result first, I was very hopeful that we were going to get a home draw. Then we were told no against Cashel King Cormacs. Then we were told no, we'll be away again. And then we heard maybe neutral venue, and then it was decided yesterday there would be a coin toss, or Monday even, that there was going to be a coin toss. And so came to today, and we won the coin toss, which is I think obviously it gives us a fighting chance against a really strong Cashel team. But I just think in terms of an occasion in Abbeydorney for Abbeydorney GA club, for hurling in North Kerry and Kerry GA, I think it's going to be
a massive day.
A huge day.
Is it Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday the 17th. Yeah,
Sunday the 17th.
So.
I heard that your chairman, the Right Honourable William O'Leary, he suggested to the chairman of Cashel that they toss over the phone.
No, William was there. I think he travelled. Yeah, he was there in person. The two, as far as I know, two chair people had to be there. No? So. I'm not sure. He probably went at 4 o'clock in the morning instead, just to the coin toss. Yeah. But he was there.
What's he getting fit for, by the way? The All-Ireland final in Dublin, is it?
Sure, he's doing a pile of work around the place. You know, the man has to be a good Nick. He's carrying the village on his back. So yeah, it's great. It's a huge result for us to get a home draw. It's what we all said after the county final was, imagine if we can just get this game. Get a Munster game in Abbeydorney. I think that would be, no matter what happens.
You can actually, because like Clive O'Callaghan was suggesting today, it should go to the Aston Stack Park, and Kilmiley said you could play them out in their place because they were successful. They went to an All-Ireland final. You won one championship in 50 years. Tell me why it should be there. Oh yes, the Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, sure. Look, we hosted the Fitzgibbon final at the start of the year, so I think if we're capable of doing that, I think we're capable of hosting the Munster semi-final. So, look,
it's huge car park. You've lights, great pitch, stand,
and you know we've had a couple of big occasions now in Abbeydorney over this year. Luckily enough, we had the Munster ladies football in junior semi-final there as well a couple of weeks ago. So there's guys, James Feely, he'll be steward number 1. He's the man with the plan.
I thought he was the goalkeeper.
Jason's father, James. Yeah, he's the man with the plan. He'll be parking all the cars. He'll have us all in tip-top shape. And Stephen O'Connell as well.
Can you actually visualise for us what the atmosphere is going to be like in 11 days' time? Just because you'll have a better idea than any of us. What does this mean to have a home Munster game?
It's huge. Like it is. It's just such like if we told ourselves back in March that we'd be in a position like this, we'd be laughing at ourselves. You know, it's kind of beyond our wildest dreams, really. So win, lose or draw, it's going to be a huge day, and I'm sure plenty of people will turn out and support us as well from the wider North Kerry region. I'm sure they will. Yeah, so and they always
club are welcome there. Will welcome there.
All are welcome.
I heard the Munster Council are holding an emergency meeting before the week is out, and you being banned, you'll have to come in and you'll have to come in with one of those Halloween costumes on that you wore the other night. I think you're Superman, but you're anything but. And you will have to watch it at home on Clubber, they were saying. But you can appeal it.
Yeah, we'll appeal that. No, it'll be a great day out in France.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I might get a bit of B&B in my house out there, would I?
Yeah, charge away. Yeah,
charge away.
50 quid a man is the going rate here for the Munster.
I mean, you went to BB in Dungarvan, met somebody from Knocknagoshel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Fair play to Catherine, lovely.
Catherine, okay. Catherine was upset at you as well, by the way, because you never paid and you leaving. Now, on that bombshell, we'll go to the game. It was very even. What were the conditions like? I mean, there wasn't a big wind, but I'd say the pitch was heavy.
It was, yeah. There was kind of, that soft rain was kind of falling for much of the morning. It stopped around maybe 12 o'clock because the boys were texting us on the bus asking what the weather was like in Dungarvan. So they travelled, I think they stopped in Castlemartyr for a bit, warmed up there, and then came on into Dungarvan. But yeah, it was and like that they haven't played in poor conditions all year, really, luckily enough, compared to last year, I think, where every game was in the rain. But it was heavy conditions, and the Brickey Rangers really took to the home advantage, which is, I suppose, another reason why we're so hopeful now after winning the toss today. Like, they settled so quick. The boys were very leggy.
You were very slow, weren't you?
Yeah, I think the trip maybe took a small bit out of them. They were warming up out the back as well, and probably wasn't great surface either. So they struggled to get going first 15 minutes. No, I never worried at all.
Michael, I know he's ready to kill you, but like, just to add more to your misery, Michael missed a few frees as well, didn't he? Yeah. But I mean, the point he got from the sideline later on, you can talk about that later, and that'll save you.
Look, yeah, he didn't have the best day with the frees, he'll tell you that himself. I was actually telling John there earlier, or JC as well, when we were in, a couple of the lads were saying when they were in the pitch and they were looking at either end, especially the strand end, there's a lot of poles behind the goals there.
Yeah.
And it's not the easiest kind of sighter.
Yeah.
So obviously, not being very familiar with it, maybe there was something there. But look at.
If he was playing with Kilmiley, he'd see a strand from the pitch. Go on, yeah.
We won't worry too much about the wides now. In fairness, I think a lot of them, there's maybe factors in it. Look, it was just a case of trying to get over the line and falling over the line. But luckily enough, we got there in the end. But like that, I was never worried in normal time, really. Even towards the end of the second half, I was always confident. I was sure we were going to win it in normal time, to be honest with you. And
extra time, you lost your life.
Extra time was kind of
your pulse.
I just felt they were really fit, to be fair. Brickey Rangers, they just seemed to be hopping off the ground.
They play
for
football as well, you say?
They're a dual club, yeah. No, I think they might be more inclined to football than they are to hurling. I think they didn't have a great year in the football. But the surprising thing was they're a lot. The players in general are a lot older than our guys. But in fairness to them, they're in great shape.
Yeah.
And
they used the sweeper system, which you don't seem to be able to handle that well. With the Killian Ryan that was back there, the top team.
Yeah, he was a great player, in fairness to him. I think the lads didn't really... Do you know, Kieran Deneen be missing on the day as well. Like,
tell us about Kieran.
Kieran's wife
paternity
Fiona.
Leave is called, is it?
Yeah. So Kieran and his wife Fiona had a baby boy on Sunday. So Kieran didn't make the trip.
What do I call him?
Lads, Connor.
Aidan.
Connor. Not named after me.
Right. No, I just thought after your performance in Waterford, I might honour you by calling the child after you. But Connor, yeah, lovely, and congratulations to Aidan and Fiona, by the way, if you ever get around to
Kieran and Fiona. Don't
right. Moving swiftly on anyway.
Okay, move swiftly on.
The back six, I think, didn't really settle well. So while we struggled with their sweeper, I actually think the biggest problem was we struggled with our own sweeper. Yeah. So I think it ended up being Mikey Clifford, and he probably wasn't really where he needed to be, whether that was...
It's not a role he's probably used to anyway. He's mainly a man marker, I think.
Yeah, and
a very good one.
Exactly, and when Niall Mahoney became the sweeper, particularly in extra time, he absolutely excelled at it, and Niall was unbelievable. Only for Niall and Keane Sheehan in the midfield, we probably would have been out of the game at half-time.
Yeah, a name I want to mention to you, Keane. I mean, Keane is about your own size, right? Which is very big. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Oh, he'll take awful offence to that.
Will he? Yeah. But, I mean, he hadn't been getting his game in the Championship, really. He was coming on, but he hadn't been getting his game. Is he still going to Mount Hawk, or is he just finished?
He's finished now,
He's finished. He was on the Mount Hawk team, Keane, Jack's brother. Yeah. And I think he outscored Jack. Or he went close anyway. No, Jack.
The last day Jack outscored him, but Keane was super.
Wasn't he unbelievable? He picked up so much breaking ball.
His work rate was excellent. Like himself, Keane Sheehan, I think Jack Hannon, Michael Slattery are three guys who pushed on everyone so much in training over the last 2 months, because they have broken the door down to get into that starting 15. Yeah. You know, I've rarely seen a team evolve so much from a county final.
Yeah, you actually mentioned that to us in the build-up to the game, and it was going to be a totally kind of a different-looking Abbeydorney team.
Like, they played a lot of challenge games where Mikey Clifford was centre-back, Ronan Donovan was midfield, maybe wing-back. They really had moved things around, and I actually thought they were going to start with Ronan midfield and Mikey centre-back, Niall Mahoney wing-back. The way they worked out was maybe more naturally how they lined out in the Championship. But it just shows that there is the flexibility there for the lads to move things around in the back. I think the back six are all fairly flexible. Stephen Egan could have been playing in the half back line, I think, as well Sunday. I don't know whether Kieran Deneen missing then changed that plan, and he moved. He kind of, you could see he was slightly struggling to get his bearings at the start, but
once he grew into the game, didn't he?
Yeah, once he settled in and played his man
powerful in the second half, and he was powerful in added time.
Yeah.
Until eventually he had to limp off, I'd say, with cramp or whatever.
And Jack Barker came on, another guy who featured very fleetingly in the Championship, and the one ball that came into him against Brendan Cunningham, who was causing Stephen problems, especially as Stephen was starting to tire. Jack took the ball and went out for a line ball, but that was the line ball in the end that we managed to hurl over.
Jason caught and got down to and it was a tough ball for Brendan to field. There was two Waterford lads, great catch, and he gave it to Jack Hannon, then wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And Jack played it down the line. And how in the name of goodness did O'Sheen, who was travelling probably in half a leg or 1.5 legs,
I don't know how
he went down, he fell,
fouled.
grabbed the ball, he was fouled.
He was
Hang
fouled.
on a second. Don't start it now. We just had a word for people back inside, and there again, you put your foot in it. He wasn't fouled. He fell. And he grabbed the ball and he turned on his right, and from the angle.
Yeah.
And you didn't think it was over the bar over the bar.
I think I just assumed at that stage every shot they were going to take was going to go wide. But
but you had lost the will to live at that stage. And he took the shot and it landed, I'd say, on the net, was it, or maybe just behind it?
Well, after Jamie Kiley had gotten his hurley to it, which he managed to do 10 feet above his head.
Yeah.
But it did go. It went straight over the post, to be fair. It was a super score from Oisin. But I think Brendan, the catch that Brendan made, Brendan was very harsh on himself because he had 2 wides in extra time. But
did you get the bill for the steel door that you broke down? No.
Just about stayed intact. I'm not that strong.
All right,
But in fairness to Brendan, it was great.
You mentioned Cian Sheehan as one of the players who came into the team since the county final. Tell us about the other 2. Tell us about Michael Slattery and the goalkeeper Jason Feely, because obviously Conor Bohan was fantastic, wasn't he? In the county championship.
Yeah, he was.
Tell us how Jason has come into the side.
Well, see, I suppose Jason is very much like a kind of a new player in the club again. He came back from Dubai in 2021. His first game back was a Division 3 final against Crotta, which he was taking the frees for and carried us all the way through to the victory that day. I was playing that day,
God,
that's about one of my best achievements in Ireland.
Division 6?
Division 3.
Or 3, all right. That's a bit higher up,
Jason came home that day, he was taking the frees, so he
you were being fouled, obviously.
I won one of those frees now, in fairness.
I
won one of those frees.
All right.
Didn't get much off John that day, but got that one.
Who was John Ross?
No, John Hennessy was ripping that day.
Who was?
John Hennessy.
John doesn't like you. Go on.
He's back in the club, and like that did play. He played championship for Abbeydorney, I think maybe 10 years ago in goals, possibly.
He's not a young fletcher, he's not.
He'd be around the same age as James O'Connor. Like he would have been on
31, maybe 32.
Would have played in 2008 for the minors. I'm fairly confident in saying. Fairly sure he did play in 2008. So won minor championship in 2008. He'd be around that age.
Yeah.
And so came into the team, like, losing Connor was a huge blow because he was so good. But Jason came in. He played all the North Kerry. He played the North Kerry League. No, he didn't play the North Kerry League final. Connor was there for that. Came in, played all the North Kerry championship. Played 4 or 5 challenge games and was absolutely flawless last day.
Yeah, his puck outs are great. Yeah. Very safe under the ball, everything, yeah.
And then Michael Slattery has struggled with injuries over the last couple of years, so the work he put in to get himself back into a starting place, he kind of, in a way, came out of nowhere in the last 3 weeks down that starting place, but he was undeniable in the couple of games.
The skill level of that guy, I remember himself and Donald O'Sullivan. I think Donald, or was it himself, got injured. They played a game, Crotta had a game that week, where they played it on the 21B semi-final against Meath in Simple Stadium. We're going back a couple of years, and they were down 10 points at half time, and they brought on what's his name, Crotta's Romani, Barry, brought on Barry, and Barry got something like 10 points on his own. He was taken down for a penalty and he scored 1-3, Michael Slattery. And earlier in the game, I think going down had damage as well. Yeah. They came back from 10 points down to almost win by 10. It was an incredible game.
They won it out that year as well.
They did. Was it Wicklow or somebody beating the final? Whatever, They won that out, But a great talent. But since then, he's been struggling with injury. He had played football with the Stacks, hadn't he? And then he was a minor with the Stacks. And now he plays football with Ballyduff, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he's not injured. But he has come along. If himself, say for the next day, if himself and Oisin are fully fit, they're a lethal duo in the full forward line.
Yeah, absolutely, and like David Egan as well, who like that. So many guys, I suppose, after the county championship, you kind of put your life on hold for those couple of months, and then you have so much to do after. So trying to get the training to stay going is quite difficult. David is doing a masters at the moment. He's currently in Causa Comprehensive, I think, on placement teaching. So David Egan. So like he's like, it's been tough for players like that. Fellas going back to college as well, like Oisin, etc. They're all going back to college. So trying to make trainings midweek, making all the challenge games is tough. So David, in fairness, probably will tell you himself, maybe wasn't in where he would have wanted to be, and in terms of fitness wise and sharpness wise. So a game into the legs for him is super, and I think a full forward line of David O'Sheen and Michael Slattery is very, very lethal and dangerous, because you've David's work rate and you've the two boys like inside, you know.
What about midfield? All right, Keane did very well there. Will Niall O'Mahony assume? I mean, for the throw-ins, Michael O'Leary will always go in. Is he a big man? Because he's a big man, 6'5" or 6 or whatever, he doesn't seem to get frees. I thought he was fouled a couple of times the last day. Shane Scanlon now had a good game, I thought, to be fair to him. He left it flow.
He did have
he
a
left
good
it
game
flow
in
now.
fairness, yeah.
That was one or two decisions you could say, well, if you were nitty-picky about it. But like, he left the game flow, and I think that added to the enjoyment of it.
Absolutely. Or like another referee could have blown the whistle 70 times on Sunday, you know, especially in the winter time.
He's Michael Scanlon's son of 103 Cork or whatever it is. And,
no, in fairness, he did a super game in normal time particularly. He refed it very, very well, led to a fine free-flowing game. And like that, someone was saying, you know, even like extra time is tiring for referees as well. So the same way as a player gets tired.
He's a young lad.
And still though, it's tough going for 86 minutes.
What about the co-commentators? It's tough to keep going.
Tough to keep going, yeah.
I thought in the final minute your energy levels are unbelievable in extra time. Where'd you get that energy from?
Not sure where that kicked out from, in terms of Michael though, it's the story of his life. He'll tell you all the way through underage. Like the man, we used to get absolutely murdered out there. And
he got tattooed in one of the championship games as well. We won't say which, but and
he never gets the fouls he should. Like there was a free given against him at one stage, a puck out coming towards him, and your man's hanging off him.
Does he ever fight?
A free out given against Michael. I'd say if Michael started fighting, he'd see red fairly quickly, because look at the way he doesn't exactly get frees given towards him fairly easily. So if Michael he keeps himself out of it, you know, because he knows he's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, Brendan, Daniel and Michael, I was so happy for them because for obvious reasons, and I'd say Dan was directing operations from the sky, to be honest, because
Dan was doing some serious work.
He made sure that O'Sheen got that point, and I was so delighted for ye, you know. I know, like, you're my club now, but still, and like, I really thought that when the going got tough, he showed great resilience, and then never threw in the towel. They could easily have. I mean, Michael O'Leary's point in extra time over near the dugout or on the far side, on his left, out near the sideline. That was some point. I think you thought at that stage you were getting very excited that they had won, but it didn't happen. I think that was the point that levelled it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Michael levelled
24,
so I think Killian Ryan had actually made a run down the pitch, pucked it wide.
Yes.
Which was, looking back at it, a poor wide, but probably the only mistake he made all day. Jason hit a super puck out to Jamesy. Jamesy played it. I'm not sure if Jamesy played it directly to Michael. I think he might have, and then Michael just was about to kind of come inside on his right and just turned and sent it over off his left leg from the sideline. It was a screamer of a point, like, you know.
And they kept saying a Kerry Senior hurling star. When did he play with the Kerry Senior hurlers? Can you remind me?
Who's that now?
Michael O'Leary.
Michael, well, he has played with the Kerry Senior hurlers before. I actually think he might have been in front of Jamesy in that as well, because of course Jamesy was probably more recent. Jamesy and Niall are probably the two most recent.
He played in Burton and Brendan played in under Finton. They played in Joe McDonald's final.
What can you tell us already about Cashel King Cormacs?
Well, I've seen bits of the Cashel Newcastle West game. I think Cashel tell you themselves they're very lucky to be in the semi-final. Newcastle West really should have had the game won. They scored a goal after 20 seconds. They were in control midway through the second half, and the legs just seemed to die out. Cashel got 8 points in a row, I think. Devin Ryan and Owen Connolly are the two main men. There's
a Bonner with them, and a Bonner came on.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys.
Are they related to Viking? Or there might be Cullum's sons, were there?
I haven't gone that deep now into any
Yes,
you want to be looking at that really, family trees.
But Owen Connolly, 9 points, 6 frees, 2 65s, and has a free taking range of about 120 yards, I'd say.
Wow.
He put over a free from nearly inside his own 45 at one stage. He has a serious strike on him. Devin Ryan as well. They're the two danger guys from what I've seen quickly.
So
anyway,
no fouling.
Oh, no fouling. And fairest to
and
the
your
boys,
pitch is fairly short, isn't it? It's not the required length, is it?
It is the required length, yeah, it is. It's a lot longer than Mount Cole was last year anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
I think,
the keeper scored
I think if
1-3 or
if it hadn't been for goals being done up last year, I think Crotta might have had a better chance than playing in Mount Cole last year. So,
it's a grand pitch.
but yeah, look, he's got a serious strike. The lads know that they're going to have to be on the discipline's going to have to be right up there. In fairness, it was as well Sunday, because it kept Tom O'Connell pretty quiet from frees, and that's kind of his bread.
It was ironic that Tom O'Connell would be troubling you, because Tom O'Connell was one of your best players and played with Brickey in the football back in the day himself, and
Brick Rangers,
Brick Rangers, sorry. Tom O'Connell, stalwart of the club as well.
Absolutely, and it was pointed out as well about the Kerry jerseys and the story of how the green and gold became the Kerry jerseys, which is a story I didn't know about, them borrowing a set of jerseys off some club in Waterford. That's the one. So that was pointed out at the start of the game as well. So there seemed to be a lot of these kind of strands being pulled together in what was just a really special day for us.
Yeah, and obviously Francie missed the game just through a small bit of illness, but hopefully he'll be back on the sideline now for the final. Niall O'Leary, Niall O'Connell was in good form, I'd say, as well. Yourself and himself, I'd say, are two men who won't be welcome back in Waterford for a small while. Am I right?
Niall wears his heart in his sleeve as well.
He does. And I thought Bino would be the fiery one in the.
Bino was very calm. No, he's very calm.
He was keeping Niall under rain, but he couldn't keep him under rain the whole game. Niall escaped from his clutches at one stage. I was watching it. It was very funny.
Yeah, but it was a huge day for them as well, because that's a lot of pressure on them, because
without the manager,
without Francie there, it was
was Francie on the phone to him, make those changes?
I'm sure. I think William O'Leary had a good few missed calls, alright, because I think he might have switched the phone off.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But, no, look, I'm sure whatever means of communication they have, it works out for him. But look, I think as well, Francie might be a guy that just says, "Look, I'm at home. There's nothing I can do from here." As well, that kind of way.
I leave it to you. He trusts the boys, in fairness to them and their experience as well. Now, a final question to you before you're released from custody. Tell us this: it's going to be a big day, obviously. What are your hopes? Obviously, you'll be hoping to get to a Munster final. It's going to be tough, but home advantage. Would you look for a dry day for spectators and everything?
I think just even the way the lads
it was 19 degrees today. Myself and John were up in Bammy.
Like
John had a t-shirt on.
Bammy Rackeel.
If it's a day like today is probably the ideal conditions. You don't want an stormy day. You want a good conditions for a good game, first of all, and you want a dry day for plenty of spectators to be able to turn out. And I think the lads were just from the games they played this year, they seem to all be in dry weather. So you'll be hoping a nice, fine, dry day. It can be dull as it wants. We have a generator in Abbeydorney, so we can throw lights on if we need to.
So you're looking forward to it a bit?
Yeah, we are massively.
How many times have you watched the game last Sunday? And muted the sound, I presume.
I've watched it back a few times, alright. I haven't had much else to do over the last couple of days.
You were on holidays, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm off for the week, so I'll probably have it watched 5 more times come Saturday.
It won't change the result, though. Remember that.
No, it won't. And the first time I watched it back, I was still getting frustrated.
Were you? Michael O'Leary told me, or somebody told me, that Michael O'Leary was going to be taking frees for the next week, and you were going to be behind the goals, poking the ball out to him. That's your punishment for criticising him and one of your top players. I mean,
well, the last time he did an all night off from the frees was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, was it against Causeway in the North Kerry Championship, and I told him, see, you don't know now whether you're trying to fix your freeze or fix your slice off the tee. So I think he's getting caught between 2 wines at the moment. But no,
is he a good golfer?
No.
Michael O'Leary,
if
you're watching this.
No, he's no prize to collect at the end of this year.
Hasn't he? But like a hurling with the timing and the size of him, you'd imagine him.
Brendan, too much of a slice.
Brendan, a good golf.
He's the same slice. I've never seen Brendan play golf. Michael is the same slice as Tony Mansell. They can't. They just can't seem to.
So not alone has he berated the talents of Michael O'Leary, one of the finest players to ever catch a hurling at a golf club, by the way. Now you'll be rating Tony Mansell, one of the great players who actually went down to Waterford and did something positive. And like you, he won a championship game down there for Kerry in 1993.
Yeah. There's a couple of people saying that as well, like even that. The Kerry jerseys beating the Waterford jerseys on the hurling pitch as well. Like the people were saying, I saw a few comments harking back to the 93 days as well. Like there's a lot of kind of folklore came out of Sunday, and it is a day that will remain in folklore for a long time, regardless of what happens. On the 17th.
You're in bonus territory now, in fairness. Well, we wish you and Abbeydorney all the best in the semi-final. We'll be previewing it probably at some stage as well, and Clubber will be carrying it live, I'm sure. Whether we're involved in it now or not does not matter, but I can guarantee you won't be.
That's fine with me.
Without being too harsh.
I know what it's like being in jail now. Anyway,
I know, yeah. After a couple of days more to be finished with, I won't mention it again. Ask John about Tarbert and they're winning the championship.
He's still mentioning it.
He's 2 years on. Now, John and Aidan, feel free to chip in it as well. We had a very historic day today in Kerry hurling, because the Green at Tralee CBS were the first Kerry school. Now there were schools involving Causeway, and I think one of the Wallaces was going to Mount Hawk at the time, etc. There was a few lads in, and maybe the Linehan lad was in from Killarney, where they were around 2.9, 2.10, somewhere around then. They were in it for a year and then they dropped out. But this is the first individual school in Kerry to play a Harty Cup hurling. So there's lads on that team as well who play Cornley. So there'll be 8 or 9 lads who will say we played Harty Cup in 2024 and we played a Cornley with the school. So that is something historic. But for Kerry hurling and for the future of it, myself and John were up there today for our respective publications. And John, I'd have to say to you, very encouraging from Tralee for about 40 minutes. But then obviously the class maybe, and that extra bit of fitness and physicality as well. Yeah. And of course the centre-back, Ewan Murray, some hurler, an All-Ireland minor winner last year when they won with 13 in extra time, and he scored 4 points in extra time. Ironically, he scored 4 points again today. But it took him a long time just to push clear, and they had to, because it's a 3-team group. They drew their first game with Flannans, and the top of the group will be decided on scoring differences. So they pushed on to win by 13, where in fact 7 or 8 would have been, I'd say, a better reflection of the scoreline. What do you think, John?
Yeah, definitely the word is encouraging. Tralee CBS really gave a great account of themselves today. There was a huge difference in physicality. You could see that before the game even started. There's some serious units on that Tralee CBS team. You talk about Ewan Murray, the centre-back. You talk about Keith Loughnane, the wing-back wearing the number 7. You'd nearly say he's as big as Finan Mackesy now, if not bigger, at this young age. He's probably only...
You could mark Michael O'Leary, probably.
He could probably go toe-to-toe with Michael.
Not at golf.
Not at golf. They got off to a slow start, Tralee. There was obviously nerves there. Yeah. And... the lads, Turles, got maybe 3 or 4 points up straight away. But then after 14 minutes, a brilliant individual goal by Lee Moog O'Connor. And for a Kerry Colleges team took part in this competition in 2012. But you fast forward to 12 years to today. For a club team to get their first score in the Harty Cup.
And for it to be a goal. Yeah. Keelan Best gave him the ball. Yeah. And he was at the corner flag. And he had to work his way in past a number of defenders on the in line, kind of come out to make an angle and buried it. Brilliant.
Yeah, and it was kind of at the second attempt. The first attempt was kind of bottled
a defender.
Up.
Yes.
And he came again, and it was a brilliant finish. But they got a bit of life from that then, Tralee CBS. And after 25 minutes, the sides were level.
7 points to 1-4.
7 points to 1-4. And you could hear the Turles supporters beside us, and... Tipperary hurling supporters they're a serious bunch.
They are, yeah.
Even from first whistle to last, it was they didn't spare their own team. They were expecting a huge win, and they got a big win in the end. But I still think they were kind of angry that they only won by 13 at the end, because as Murt says, the scoring difference will come into it. Thurles got about 4 points before half time in a row.
Yeah,
they were. You'd have
11,
to say.
Yeah.
You'd have to say they were a bit fortunate to be
4 up
at half time.
Yeah.
Then at the start of the second half, they got the first score. Andrew Kearns responded with a super score.
Brilliant.
He actually kicked it over the bar.
He did. And he plays soccer with Kerry FC, can't play hurling with Parnells or whatever. He's going to claim the soccer, but now with the school, he can obviously play the hurling. He hadn't played, Mark Rail told us, a hurling game for 12 months.
Jeez.
But he's a serious operator.
serious
Now
operator.
he's
I remember
not a
watching
big
him
man, but the
even-
pace and the skill of him.
Going back to when he's under 10, he always stood out.
Serious.
And Rory Flaherty as well.
Ono Flaherty
Ono
in the
Flaherty,
middle
sorry,
of the field, yeah.
was excellent. Now
Savage work rate.
He's shooting left and down a bit today, and the shots that he got in, and lads didn't get him in them, but he had a massive game.
Yeah, at the back, Darren Nolan at full back competed brilliantly with the captain of Tralee CBS, Robbie Ryan, kept him to just 2 points from play. They had some outstanding players though. They moved Ewan Murray further forward at the
On
start
the 40,
in the
shot
third
2 points.
quarter.
Yeah,
he ended
yeah.
up getting 4 points from play.
Yeah.
Jack Hayes, the corner forward, was fantastic. He got 5 points. Killian Minogue, the other corner forward, scored 2-2.
Yeah.
They had some great artists, hurling artists, like when they really got going. And you could see that the CBS lads were running out of a bit of steam around the 40-45 minute mark. But they kept plugging away.
And Mikey Carden came on, who's only 15. He is some talent.
Yeah.
Now, Dara, the brother, I presume he is,
Yeah.
he was in, and his mum was telling me he's just back from injury. But he had a fine game at number 7. He had a great first half, Dara Carden.
And Mikey came on after about 37 minutes, went up front with Leahy Moog, and Tralee started sending in some high balls. Luke Rochford and a few of the lads sending in high balls to Leahy Moog, who'd break it to Mikey. And they had a nice little relationship going for the last 20 minutes. Mikey got a point. Leahy Moog got another fine goal set up by Mikey, which kept him in it around the 3/4 stage. But obviously, like, as the bodies tired and substitutions were made on both teams, Thurles had that little bit of extra.
They brought on 5 subs, and they only brought on 2 against Flannans, which shows they wanted fresh legs to drive on to get those extra points. And one of their goals was very late, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, by Minogue in the 56th minute,
Yeah.
So, the scoreline, as Murt says, 13-point win, Tralee CBS, they probably won't be overly jumping around over it.
Yeah, it was great to see Mark Rail involved. Dahi Griffin, who scored such a fine point in the championship, which you described as a poor point. I described it as one of the finest points I've ever seen. And he's a good hurler. He's not a great footballer, I say. Dahi. No, you don't want to get into more trouble. No. Dahi's excellent. But Dahi was there. Morgan Madden, who's of this parish. He's Parnells and Nagail.
Yeah.
He could have done better with Nagail this year, but he'll be around again next year, Morgan.
And of course we had Julianne O'Keefe in the backroom team, who's going to be playing for Clonmorris, Murt.
That's right, on Saturday.
And you're going to be there.
Yeah, and that's on Clubber, live on Clubber with Gary Toohey. That's Clonmorris against Ballinora from Cork, the Cork champions. They're going for 3 in a row, Clonmorris. And I tell you this, they'll give it a fair rattle now. They've got Murt Murphy, a Cork senior who won all on with them this year. She played cornerback, she played centre back, and then Rachel Murphy under 48. Now they're related or not, and she scores a lot. So they're a very dangerous team. But listen, they're warriors from Clonmorris. Yeah, but Julianne will be there, and she started the last day because Keevis Bland stayed back with Abbeydorney, and she got a great point. So she's well capable. Last year she was over with St. Brendan's, and she was involved with David Clifford, and they won the first year team, so she's a good record as a coach. So and she's into greyhounds as well. She's got they've got the Dale Road prefix. They've a couple of very good. The dog and the Derby, yeah, her brother. So look, how much more information do I have to give you?
I suppose the big thing, Murt, out of today was 2 things.
Dahi
really.
Griffin is a fabulous hurler and footballer. I want to make that clear because his mum and dad were there today, and I was chatting to him, and Dahi was in a threatening mood early when I met him, so I don't want to meet him someplace in a dark night.
Yeah, but he was mostly giving out about Clive O'Callaghan, who we should be talking to soon in the football part of the show.
He said Clive is not great tactically, but he's a good head for football. Go on, yeah.
But anyway, no, the big things today was the great support for Tralee CBS in Rockhill today, and not just from the students or from the parents.
Oh, the students! Don't tell me the drums, and the loud hailer, etc.
I saw Liam Ross there today, the hurling officer for the county board. There was people
there
from a lot of clubs there.
There was, parents, etc. Good support.
You can't underestimate, the impact that would have on, let's say, a young fella from inside in Tralee, first or second year that's never caught a hurley, And if he's carried along to watch that, like that's
Yeah,
huge. Like, you
yeah.
can't underestimate that.
Yeah, and there's a good number of Parnell guys on the squad, and the whole of North Kerry. And I think that augurs well when they go playing under 20 with Kerry and maybe onto the senior panel.
Absolutely,
and even when they start playing club championship, because they've been together, playing B football and playing B hurling, I don't know, up along third year, fourth year, whatever, fifth year onto leaving cert now. It's big because when they play each other, they try and beat each other. But like, there's none of the carry-on that should happen long ago, because they go to school together, they're mates, like, and they will give it all inside the white line. But once the game is over, they'll shake hands, and that's it.
The biggest thing we probably learned today, and it's actually, we probably don't understand how phenomenal the progress of Tralee CBS has been. 6 years ago, they were playing Munster hurling.
Hurling, that's right. Yeah. The equivalent of what Aidan plays. Yeah, go on.
They've gone EDCB to A hurling in the space of 6 years, and what they showed today is that they deserve to be at this level.
Yes,
that's
they're
the
very. We have
that
to say as well, for those the uninitiated who wouldn't be following Harty Cup, is that I think there's something like 19 teams or 22 teams, maybe whatever in it. But there was a number of 4-team groups, and they got the short straw. They got a 3-team group against 2 teams. Flannans, who's won the Harty Cup for 22 times. They're trained and managed this year by Tony Kelly. So we'll be meeting him, John. Hopefully we'll put him right about a few things, will we?
In a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, yeah. And Cormac might be there to see his first cousin. Brody was what's his name? Brody, isn't it?
Brody was cornerback.
He was cornerback, yeah. And then we will have
Tralee CBS
have 8. So that's 30
Cups.
times. Now, if they were in a 4-team group where there was maybe a team of their own standard, they'd have a win maybe, and then 2 good tilts at stronger teams to bring them on. But Mark, it is what it is. They're in there.
We've seen schools play much lower grades in Munster and get a much bigger hockey in,
Oh, yes.
So to come away with being very competitive for the majority of the game, and like to score 212 is very respectable as well. I think it's always great when you get a couple of goals as well,
Yeah.
So it's a great day for them. And like that, I'm sure they're not too worried about the results at the end of the day. They're just happy with the fact that they're able to show that they've earned the right to compete at that level.
And fantastic for Liam O'Connor the way that he could go home this evening, and he's got 2-9 on his CV from a Harty Cup debut. Like that's fantastic.
I know there was 3s and 45s, but there was 2 goals from play.
And you only hope now that it kind of focuses the mind a small bit in the rest of the schools. Particularly, look, I went to Causeway School, so I always have a bit of a fondness there. And like, you'd be hoping now they're looking at Tralee CBS and they're saying, look, we need to get back on track here.
Yeah.
That used to be us, that was always us, the standard bearers for hurling.
Back in the day, Willie
think,
Dowling and
it's hopefully if you can get Tralee CBS and Causeway Comprehensive School both driving it on. That's only augurs well for
I always remember
hurling.
Causeway Comprehensive with the Boyles, etc. Were playing a game in Killarney. It wasn't a Crokes pitch actually, and it was against the West Cork side, and it ended in absolute chaos. Right, there was a massive row, etc. I had to report on it. So I don't know what phraseology I used anyway, but the following game that I went to, Willie Dowling comes striding across the pitch. I said, oh God, I'm dead here. We're back about 98 now, 2000, around that era, back 25 years. And Willie said, listen to me, there was no fighting in our game. I said, I didn't say, I said there was a melee. He said, that's the same thing. And but we were great friends after. But he was a bit upset about what appeared in the Examiner about the game. Just like you upset the Watford people, I probably upset the Causeway Comprehensive that time. So listen, that's great news about the school. Now in 2 weeks' time, they're playing St. Flannan's. That won't be easy either, but I'll give it a go. And as I said, they showed today that they belong to the top table, and they have good under 17s and 16s coming through. Okay, there'll be a few of the lads probably going next year. So let's hope now they can keep it up. And as I said, if they've got a decent group, but it's going to be great for Kerry hurling.
Absolutely,
you don't want to be beaten.
That's where it started for Limerick.
Yeah. Exactly.
10 years ago was in the schools.
Yeah.
So,
you don't want to be down at B and C level hammering teams just for the sake of a trophy. You want to be testing yourself against the better teams. Their stick work today, the number 6, like Ewan Murray, his stick work, like he's a Tipperary All-Ireland mine winner, and he's underage again this year, I think. And our lads will be playing B minor, but this is A minor, the real thing. So beating Kilkenny and were awfully involved in that as well. They were, I think, I don't know who was involved in the semi-finals of that. I think they had a very good team. So that's the hurling review for you. Aidan, thanks for coming in. It was a great honour to have you and to put you in the chair.
I thought I might never get the clubber.
And no, you will be. Well, you'll be in this part of it anyway. I don't know will you ever going to be anywhere else. But we'll forgive you by the time next June and the championship comes around. And we'll be looking for your knowledge, and obviously we'll see you either before or after the Abbeydorney game to look back on it in the semi-final. Win or lose at this stage, they're in there, and it's a great bonus for them, and the best of luck to them. And John will be back with me now shortly, along with Clive O'Callaghan and John Kennedy, and we look forward to two big finals, which will be live and exclusive on Clubber TV this coming weekend. And don't forget the Camogie either on Saturday, up in Tipperary in Littleton, and it's a Munster final, a big day for Clonmorris and the girls from North Kerry. Do you know any of the Camogie girls, Aidan?
I went to school with a lot of them, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm not that immersed outside of Abbeydorney. Do you know what I mean?
Do the Camogie girls like your commentary?
I haven't heard any complaints, so I don't think I've ever done any commentary in the Camogie.
Okay, so on that bombshell, that Aidan Leahy did go to school, number one, is important to remember, and number two, that he went to school with Camogie girls is very, very refreshing and very good to hear. So we'll be back shortly now with the football pod.